Hello. Good morning. Are we morning still?
Still morning for about 3 minutes.
3 more minutes. I'm going to take my scarf off, guys, because, that El Paso blizzard really did us. My God. So, Danny, oh my gosh. Okay. So, Danny is here with us today. First of all, I think we've been in a couple of podcasts, and this specific podcast is a podcast that's going to be super important of maybe the questions that you're waking up and asking yourself every single day. Is this, what is going on with this market? I think the question that people are asking me and Edgar are like, is it still a good time to buy? Everybody's scaring the crap out of me because they're saying interest rates are going to go up. I'm already scared because there's no inventory, everybody's saying, so I can't sell because there's no homes to buy. So what's going to happen to the market, not just in El Paso, but around the world? So today we grabbed one of our great business partners here in El Paso, Texas, one of our local loan officers with Change Mortgage, Mr. Danny Pesina, to join us on a last minute, because we needed to get you this info. So I want to say thank you, Danny, for jumping on so quickly. Yeah, everything looks great on you.
Looks great, and happy to be here. Thank you for joining us, Danny. And I think the great thing that we want to do is always in our show is be able to bring in live, true news, kill all the rumors, kill any anticipation that will get people scared. And so we want to bring in always a market update, and we're just blessed that we get to bring you on here because they get to hear from one of our most trusted business partners, and they get to share that you get to share that news with our public.
So welcome, Danny. Give us or tell us who you are and what company you're with here in El Paso, and how you've been benefiting these wonderful buyers here that are financing and purchasing homes in El Paso.
Different variety of programs, FHA, conventional, VAs. We have alternative programs that are geared for self-employed, 1099.
It's 12 o'clock.
Business owners that normally don't show taxes, show profit on their taxes, we can help them. So that particular program is, it's catching on like wildfire.
That's wonderful. Yeah. Hey guys, if you guys are out there and you can't hear Danny that well, please give us a message in the message so we can know and address that right away. He can hear us, but we don't know if we can hear him low, so we don't know if you're hearing low. So please message us in the inbox to see if you hear Danny okay.
So great again, just to kind of from what we got to hear, Danny, you're obviously well-versed, well-experienced here in the El Paso market and New Mexico market as well, for the buyers that are out there. And we'll just kind of add, Jackie will have some very good questions here. Again, we've been hearing it, being that we're on the field with our buyers. They've already had a whole, how long has this pandemic been going, right? 2 years of just often just crazy change. We don't know what the market's going to look like. We were able to benefit from having some very low interest rates here all of last year. Buyers were very, very excited, and they still are. Now they're starting to see a little bit increase for those buyers that had to sit out last year, if for a better lack of words, right? To be able to say, I'm going to have to, be able to save some more money to be able to help out with some down payment, some closing costs, and so forth. What are you kind of telling those buyers right now that we all hear rates are going up?
What we normally tell them is they can still buy. Rates they're creeping up slowly, but what we used to be able to do buy downs to lower interest rates down to 2.75, 2.5, maybe even as low as 2.25 used to cost them, low amounts, especially if they had good credit. Now it's going to cost them a little bit more. Can they still buy? Yes. Not everybody's going to be locking in their home loans at 4%, 4.5%, or 6%, or anything like that. They can still buy. So maybe more homes are going to be coming into the market. Maybe sellers are going to start. You know what? We weren't covering any closing costs. Maybe now we'll do 1%. Maybe now we'll do 2%. You know what I mean? So the the, the market itself is going to start in neutralizing. We might go back to buyer's market. I mean, it's not going to happen. I mean, the next 3 months, the next 6 months, but it might happen. You know, how
Got
do you
you.
guys? How are you guys? What's the feedback you're getting from your sellers, from people you mean selling homes?
Well, basically, right now, on average, sellers are still receiving anywhere, maybe if you price it right, which everybody is priced accordingly, 3 to 4, say maybe offers on the table. I've seen some people that have gotten way more than that on their properties. But on the back end of us agents doing the job behind the scenes,
Right.
when submitting these offers, the declining of our offers is because we didn't come in paying the difference, right? If the home doesn't appraise. So we've been seeing that quite often.
Yep.
Majority of our first time home buyers do not have that money to fill in the gap. So there's a lot of losing bids because you cannot cover that gap.
Exactly.
If you do put a higher amount, offer in there. So we've been seeing that. We've also been seeing these first time home buyers still not able to cover all their closing costs because they're now having to put their down payment, but now their closing cost is still, in the back end of their head, like who is going to pay that? So I really feel that the first time home buyers that, have the down payment but not the closing costs are still getting the shaft, if you know what I mean. Like, sit in the back right now and you're going to have to wait till it's your turn. So now that rates are going up, and when we say going up, I don't want to critically scare the people that are trying to buy, because I know the feds are going to give us about 3 or 4 hikes this year. We're not looking at high 5s and 6s. We're going to gradually, slowly increase in rate. How can you educate us or educate these buyers that, don't let that scare you completely, but we do want to try to buy now?
Correct. What we normally, when I bring in a customer, I give them all the options. You give them the options to, of course, they're going to go with their 3.5 down or 5%, and then I always extend the buying down portion of the whole transaction. Um, it's going to cost them a little bit more, but they're going to put themselves in a better position from day one. You know, if they decide that they want to close with a higher rate, the 4.5 or 4.75, then they have an option to, if rates go down 2 or 3 years from now, they can always refinance. You know what I mean? Right now, still people are buying more home for their money, so that's
Absolutely.
you know. So I mean, they're not going to be closing in 5s or 6 like you're saying, or 7s or anything like that. So a lot of people get really scared, but it they shouldn't get scared. I mean, they can still buy. Inventory still out there. Rates are still fairly good compared to their mom and pop and deals and everybody. You know.
So I feel that's good.
Yeah.
But in El Paso, and I'm pretty sure other states are dealing with the same thing, is the months of inventory that we have here in El Paso. So right now we are at about 1.3 months of inventory in El Paso.
Wow.
So meaning compared to last year, I think we were like at 2.3 months of inventory. So this year I can see that the struggle is still real. So we have a list of buyers that we still have not been able to get into homes because we're being outbid because of that gap, right? So what are some things that you have seen in the back end that you can help our buyers with, saying they have the down payment, minimal closing costs, but they can't cover that gap? What are you seeing, or programs that you could help us and our buyers, be educated on as far as buying in El Paso?
We have, of course, if they have, let's say, their down payment closing costs, they might use part of that down payment for the buy down process, but they can also do down payment assistance. So there's money from the state, money from them, and then if they have a deeper discount that they need to buy,
Right.
then they can use the down payment for their down payment for the down payment side, down payment assistance for the down payment side, and then use their money for the buy down. So so there's different options. There's different things that we can do.
How can they qualify for the down payment assistance?
Minimum is 620 credit score. There is requirements when it comes to money, how much they make per month. So I think on a family of 4, I think the max that they can make per year is 76,000, 76,800. If I'm not mistaken.
That's a very very good option. And what I get out of this, what you shared there, Danny, is it's very or how important and crucial it is to be partnered up. And in this case, if you're the consumer, to have an experienced loan officer that has these options for you, because that's the biggest thing, right? Everybody will go with someone they may know or they might have helped them previously. Not that they were a bad solution for them when they got their particular loan, but with what we're going through right now, it does require an experienced loan officer that's going to be able to look at your entire, I like to say your full option toolbox and say, hey, look, this one fits you. This one also fits you. This is why you should probably seek this opportunity because it's going to help you in the long run, short run, and be able to get you into your home. Some very good information that you've shared there, Danny, and letting us know that there's just not one option and that's it. One thing that I wanted to piggyback here off of what Jackie was sharing was, prior to COVID, we were kind of where we're starting to see right now, right? A little bit, or do you think that's already too premature?
Well, prior to COVID, it was a buyer's market, and everybody was here, buy my house. Let me give you closing costs. I'll do whatever it takes in order for you to buy my house. So once things change, everybody's like, oh hell no, I got my house. You guys fight over it. I want top dollar. I'm not paying anything.
Exactly.
Hopefully, it'll change slowly but surely. It'll change, and just to go back to where the buyers, they need more than anything, they need guidance. They need guidance on exactly what to do, how to go about the whole buying process, because it's not the same as it was 5 years ago. It's not the same as it was 10 years ago. And everybody's going to tell them something. Their aunts, their uncles, their coworkers. Hey, don't forget to tell them this. Don't forget to mention this. When I bought my house, I did this. It's not the same. I tell people, come to me. Any of those questions you have, please come to me. What I want, my main job, is to put you in the best possible position from day one.
Yeah.
If I see somebody that's really, really struggling to save up $1,000, then more than likely this is the type of customer that I'm going to go with down payment assistance. If I have somebody that has $20,000 in the bank, but for some reason they want down payment assistance, what for? Put yourself in the best possible position from day one.
Correct.
Those are the type of things that set me aside with other loan officers.
Absolutely.
Put you in the best possible position this way, because once you buy, everybody's going to ask you, oh, you bought a house? What interest rate did you get? Who did you go with? What's this? What's that? And I want to be able to tell, for them to tell everybody, their friends and family, this is my rate, this is my monthly payment for this high priced house. And they'll be like, wow, that's amazing.
Correct, guys. Yes. Dead on. Dead on. Yes. Yes, exactly. And where I want to get back at is if you do have those family members that are saying, I got this rate post COVID, meaning before COVID, it's over. Done. Don't compare yourself to that time, because we have all evolved into this new real estate and lending world in the pandemic, and now we're recovering from that pandemic. Okay, so I really feel buyers out there, and if you're looking to buy or if you're looking to sell, it is an excellent market for both sides. So I just want to make sure that we educate the people out there that it is a scary time to buy, but it really isn't, because you want to let the bad negative people tell you the rates. Yes, they're skyrocketing. Well, I shouldn't say skyrocket, right? I should take that back. Yes, they're increasing little by little. If you don't know what it means for the rate to increase, it just means that if the rate increases a tad, so does your payment. It hikes again, so does your payment. So housing on our part is super affordable still. Did you know? I don't know if you read, Danny, that it's saying that people who are renting right now are basically paying double what they would be paying if they owned and qualified, if they bought a home now,
Mhm.
right? And rental amounts, renting ¿cómo se dice? I'm over here losing my mind. I need more coffee. Rental prices are going up even more
Yep.
right now.
Because everything's
Yeah.
gone up, you know. Go ahead.
People are being kicked out of the homes they've been renting
Oh.
because everybody's looking to sell. Like they say, like right now is the best time to sell. So, hey, they might have one or two homes. Get out, I'm selling. Get out, I'm selling. But a lot of people, they don't even know, they don't realize that they can buy.
Correct.
You know, so when I get them in here, I mean, sometimes I speak to people that they've been trying for 3 or 4 years. They just need the guidance. They're like, you know what? Normally it takes me about an hour, hour and a half to go through the whole process, but I need to make sure that they understand.
Absolutely.
I highlight the do's and don'ts, the benefits that they have. I say, look, you don't have tax, state tax liens. You don't have delinquent child support. You don't have student loans that are in collection. These are all big hurdles that keep people from buying. You know, a little bit of work. You mean, because it takes work. Not everybody would have a house. You know.
Correct.
So I say a little bit of work. You mean don't go out and buy. You mean don't use your tax return and go buy those Rams or that big old 70-inch TV, or you know, I tell them and I say, hey, eat quesadillas, lunches, whatever it takes.
Eat some frijoles. That hasn't still gone up. Rice and beans like us in the old days.
Exactly. You mean I when I bought my house 7 years ago, I had to sell stuff. I sold a motorcycle. I sold a mobile home that I had, and why? Because I needed to get my DTI, my debt to income, within range. You know, it's a sacrifice. But what's more important? You know, your house. Get your house, and then you buy your car. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm so sorry for cutting you off.
I'm used to it, Jackie. Come on.
I'm so used to it. I got him off. So just so that I can hit what Danny said is, you know, buying a home is probably the largest investment that you're going to purchase in life, right? So what I feel is some people get afraid to come up to Edgar and I because of their financial situation. And, you know, it's very important for you to know that we don't sit here reviewing your finances in any way. We are real estate agents that help you find and win that asset, that home,
Correct.
and take you all through the legalities of properly getting that home owned to you, right? Danny, on the other hand, is your loan officer. He is your financial advisor. He is your counselor. So a loan officer is more than just saying approved or declined. And I'm telling you this right now, and I think Edgar knows this. I will not work with a loan officer who just wants to see if they get a green approval and golden ticket and move on. And, you know, maybe some of my clients need a little bit of work. I'm looking for that loan officer, or we are, like Danny, and that sits down with you and educates you on what you need to do, even if it's 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year. I think we've had clients for over like 3 or 4 years that were working so hard on their credit and their DTI with that loan officer until they finally approved. So that's super important.
It's very important, and that's what I was gonna, you know, kind of steal some of your show there, Jack. But it is very true in terms of what's more important sometimes than actually going through the buying process. It's that plan that you were able to set up with the right team. And I always say, because we go hand in hand, someone working like Danny, someone working with us and saying, look, this is where you're at today. Doesn't mean that that's done and over with, right? And we take the biggest pleasure. I always say, like I always tell my team when we talk to them on a daily basis, say, look, I love the fact that I can say, hey, I got a new buyer. He qualified. He sold. We closed, you know, in 20 days. That's awesome. It's a great story. But that's not what makes our job fun. It's not what makes our job satisfying when our client actually has to go through those trials and tribulations to get to their home. And I'm not saying that it's all, oh my God, it's the hardest thing ever in the world. But if you have the right team and you set the right plan from the very beginning, I'm going to steal your word, from the very beginning, you set those tones. It might take some sacrifice. It may take a few little things that you're not accustomed to doing, but if you do them, you will reach your overall goal, and that's home ownership.
Correct. Correct. That's correct. And I, with majority of my clients, I tell them my story of how I struggle. You mean, I'm divorced. I pay child support. You know, I'm basically them on the other side. You know what I mean? So once I talk to them, they know I'm a regular person. You know, I'm not a suit. You know, I'm not a person that's gonna look down on them. You know, I tell them exactly what it took, what I had to go through to get done, to get my home, and how I tried to put myself in the best possible position, and the sacrifices that I had to do. Then they're like, oh, okay, now they understand it. I mean, all the different terms. You mean, I put them in layman's terms so they understand it, like escrow. They're like, I tell my customers, do you know what escrow is? They're like, no. Have you heard the term? Yes. Okay. Escrow is kind of like a savings account.
Right.
You know, they take your taxes, you take your insurance, they put in your savings account. So when the city comes, hey, $6,000 for taxes, there's your savings account, there's your escrow, there it goes. So you mean, I want them to fully understand what they're doing. You mean, I need
Absolutely.
yes.
Absolutely, 100%. So let's go over just a little bit, Danny, on the buyers that are on the fence to buy right now, buyers that think that rates are going to go down, that sales prices on homes, home values are going to go down. That's not going to happen.
Not anytime soon.
We are not going down. We're going up.
Exactly.
What are ways that we can advise our buyers out there currently on ways that they can we can help them with the DPA? Again, you mentioned DPA. What are income tax return?
Tax returns, they can go on a new build. They can source their money if they know they're getting for $7,000. If they're used to getting $7,000 or $9,000, use that money wisely. You know, use that money wisely. Do you want to keep on renting? No. You mean, use some of that money some of your tax return money to pay down debt. So now you can qualify. You know what I mean?
I would advise them to see you first, though, so you can tell them what they need to pay.
I mean, like the old saying says, there's more than one way to skin a cat. We skin a cat like 9 or 10 different ways. I mean, there's all kinds of things that we can do to get them done. You know, so we like thinking out of the box. I mean, that's why we're getting more and more and more business because of the things that we do. You know what I mean? It's all within regulations and everything. It's just we go above and beyond. You know.
Correct. Number two, you mentioned DPA. I keep hitting that back, so buyers are aware of that. There is down payment assistance in the city of El Paso. So if you want to give us a little bit about that, I know you said that you do have to qualify, but they lend you the down payment,
Correct.
Right? But the interest rate's a little higher.
It's a little bit higher, yes. It's a little bit higher. They can lend you 3%, 4%, or up to 5% of your down payment and closing costs. So normally, if a buyer is buying a home where they're not having any closing costs covered, so normally their down payment, their closing costs here, they get down payment assistance, and they only have to come up with one side instead of both sides.
Mhm.
So they might not have all the money for the down payment and closing costs. They still have to come up with money, but not as much.
Correct.
They're going with down payment assistance.
Correct. Okay. What else can we add that's super beneficial?
Well, I mean, I think we can go in a lot of different rates. I always like to just bring it real because I get the conversation, I get the text messages, and I get the phone calls from buyers that, again, I'm going to kind of go back a little bit. We were working with last year, and they decided, to put a stop to their home search, and now they're coming back in, and now they're getting I hate to call it a double whammy, but it kind of is the right word. It's a new approach that we're having to take also from a realtors from where they were even a year ago. What do you anticipate being 6 to 8 months from what you're hearing on your end, from like the lending side, for those that still may want to wait or have decided to go maybe with a new home built, and we're still months away from that being completed.
Well, the rates are, gradually, they're going to go up a little bit. They're not going to
Hmm.
do a big jump by, 2 points, 3 points, right off the bat from one day to another. But things to consider if they're on a new build is, will the debt ratio still be the same? You know, because of interest rates. Because if they were like right at the max, let's say 57% per se, once they lock the rate, are they going to be 58 or 59? So now things to consider is you might have to pay something off. You know, you might have to pay something off in order to keep that debt to income under the threshold. So those are things that they have to be prepared for. You know, we normally lock a rate about 60 days before the completion date. So we have to lock those rates as soon as possible. As soon as we know that the house is going to be completed within 60 days to
Hmm.
as 30 days, let's get on it. Let's get on it so we can make sure that everything is where it's supposed to be. You know, rates wise, down payment, are we doing down payment assistance, your own money, what's happening? You know, so those are the different things that I foresee happening. I have if we have a customer that we can't get the debt ratios in line, then we might consider our alternative program. That might be a solution. You know what I mean? If their debt ratio is way too high, and there's nothing that we can do. Hey, your credit score is good. You have enough money. Let's go the alternative route. There we don't have to take into consideration debt to income. You know, so there's several things that come into play. We'll look at the rates. Right before they close. If everything is still lined up, debt to income is good. Uh, they've got their own money, or are they going down payment assistance? If everything's good, then we move forward. Our main
Awesome.
thing is to make sure that they are done. They get their home. Everybody walks away happy.
Everybody celebrates at the end, which is a win-win for everybody. But
That's awesome.
yes, so of course, guys, this is Mr. Danny Pesina. He has been doing a wonderful job here in El Paso, Texas, going digging deep to every buyer on how he could think outside the box and get them approved. I think my number one reason I'm wanting to jump on this podcast, and thank you for being so spontaneous, is we need to educate our buyers a lot more out there, because they may feel that they don't qualify, and in all actuality they're sitting on a full approval or just a little bit of work to get there, to own their home. So very important. I know, guys, it gets very frustrating and nerve-wracking in this market, but it's supply and demand. It's the science, right? The law of supply and demand is just we don't have enough.
Yeah.
So we need more sellers to put these buyers in their homes.
Yeah, it goes hand in hand.
It goes hand in hand. So if there's not enough inventory, of course, things are going to go up. So hey, one more thing before we end the podcast. How do you feel about inflation?
How I feel about inflation? Tough one.
Nobody likes it.
Huh?
Nobody likes it. Nobody likes it, but it has to. Sometimes, well, we have to live with it. We have to live with it. It's historically it's happened. Often.
I want to know how inflation, though, is going to go hand in hand with wages and wages to housing. I hope that makes sense. Like, if groceries are going up, prices is going up, gas is going up, everything is going up, rates are going up. Did we max? Like, did we go up? And I guess what I can say is like the maximum in FHA. What's going to happen there? Like, our wages didn't go up, did it?
Not by much. A lot of people tell you some did, some quite didn't, and I think that'll, kind of to what Danny was saying, it'll somehow balance out one way or another as we go. We just got to keep trucking and finding those in betweens.
Yeah, we just have to keep, struggling. We have to, some people struggle, some people pair up. I've had brothers, dip into buying one house. I'm like, okay, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, sometimes it's two. On an FHA loan, you can do up to 6 borrowers.
Really?
Yeah. I think if I'm not mistaken, it should be 6. But, mom, dad, then adult kids. Sometimes they can all dip in and buy the house, and then sooner or later, that one goes that way, that one goes that way.
So basically the question we should be asking is, okay, you don't, right now, currently you don't qualify, but you can ask mom, dad, uncle, brother, sister, whatever. That's pretty
Who's
cool.
coming with?
Who's coming in to invest in real estate? Like it's just, do you feel like real estate's the number one asset that you can have in your portfolio?
Yes. Oh, you can't lose with real estate.
Did you hear that, guys? You better start buying some real estate. You need more real estate in your portfolio. Don't get me started.
Yeah, that's another
story. But Danny, we want to thank you.
Absolutely.
Very much. I wish we had a little bit more time with you, but I feel that we're going to do the weekly market update every week until, we can educate as many buyers as we can to get off the fence and stop waiting because it's not going to get better. So time is critical. And I feel that it is the time to buy now. If you have the money in the bank, if you can maybe qualify for DPA, which is down payment assistance. There's one certain area in El Paso, East El Paso, Horizon, that you can qualify for 0 down on a USDA. So, hey, that's a 0 down. Maybe you have enough for your closing costs. We'll be more than happy to discuss that program with you. So there is ways that we can get you qualified.
Correct.
Okay. Well, anything else?
No, again, Danny, thank you. We'll definitely be sharing Danny's information and where to get a hold of him. Obviously, you can start by giving us a call, and we'll kind of lead you on and setting up that entire process on really how easy and feasible it can work out for you, and make sure that we get you to your dream goal of home ownership. Danny, do you have any last things here you want to share, or?
No, just I think we covered pretty much everything. It's a matter of, not everybody is approvable right out of the gate. We wish everybody was like that. We wish everybody had $50,000 in the bank, credit scores of over 750 and all that, but we're not. This is El Paso. It takes some work.
Yep.
Take some work, get you done, get the spouse done. So more than anything, I want to have all of your listeners know that come to me. I can help you. I can put you on a game plan. I'll look at everything, all your expenses, all your income, and I'll do everything that I can to get you done. Okay?
Absolutely. I agree with that, guys. The whole main thing is get started. Run that application and see where you are at, because you may be sitting on an approval, you being approved, and you don't even know it because you're a little timid. Remember, we don't see anything. We pass it right over to Danny. Danny gives us the approval. Then we start the nice work, right? Shopping for a home. So guys, we're going to end it with Mr. Danny Pesina's information. Give us a call and we will direct you and get you started. Bye, guys. We'll see you.
Thank you for having me.